Mandel.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Hunt.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Higgins.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carries. Thank you, Director Miller. Next thing on the agenda is the consent agenda, is the mayor's report. I'm going to give that later. Is the consent agenda. Mr.
Thank you, Mayor. On tonight's consent agenda, item A is an ordinance number 14-026, providing licensing and regulating of home daycare centers. Item B is the approval of the tentative agreed upon FOP clerk's contract. Item C is the settlement agreement with the City of Chicago for a payments over a number of years regarding the water bill. Item D is the sale of the property that are known as 716 Ingle. And then E is Safe Speed. There's a resolution and an ordinance. The resolution number is 14R-0015, ordinance number 14-027. These two documents are required by the Illinois Department of Transportation. And then F is the posting of handicap signs only. One is ordinance number 14-028. Second one is ordinance number 14-029. G, the demolition of 1323 Sibley Boulevard, better known as Dusty's. And then H is the tax anticipation warrant in the amount of $2.8 million, which is what Mr. Hunt referred to earlier in his comments. I would ask for a affirmative action on all of the items as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with the consists of A through H. Any discussion?
I would like to, in the one for the daycare center, our licenses usually start May 1st to go through to April 30th for the licenses to start for the applications. They can still get a portion, like a half a year, but the regular licenses are all due about the same time, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that change from January 1st to the ones that we have for the regular licenses if we can.
I don't see a reason to do it. Whatever the board decides they want to do is fine. In fact, I spoke with the village administrator. I think it would be nice to have the new coming in January instead of waiting until it all comes in at the same time. So there's no reason to, unless there's a legal reason, to move it.
According to village attorneys, no legal reason to move it. I would suggest that since this is a new ordinance and that we haven't had an ordinance in the past like this, that there be some type of advisory period that we can notify. We'll get the list of licensed daycare centers from the state of Illinois, and we give them a notice that we have implemented an ordinance and that they are going to be required to abide by certain guidelines. And rather than have this come into place in less than 60 days and for them to be subjected to a penalty immediately without being notified of the law change. And I'm just throwing this out there. So maybe it may not be a bad idea to wait until the other licensing, but if we go forward and decide to do it January 1st, I think there should be some notification to these licensed daycare centers.
If we move it, Mayor, when is the first license going to be due?
Well, it would be due in May, as all other ones are due. But I'm quite sure in some cases that the requirements of our ordinance are a little bit stricter guidelines than the state have required. So there's probably going to be some modifications that need to be made in some of these homes that have daycare centers and or regular businesses. And the only way that they would actually find out if we didn't give them notice, provide us with a new law, and tell them what the requirements are, is they get penalized. And I'm not sure if that's
Right. No, that's not the intent. The intent is just to put a license program in, so that they're regulated in place. So whatever the board is in agreement with, I'm fine with the period licenses, but I think we should start the inspection and the process right away.
I agree. I think we should keep it at January 1st, just to start the process.
Well, whatever you want to do, but all I'm saying is that I just think it would be a little bit unfair to put a new ordinance in place, which is less than 60 days notice to these homes, to these businesses. Because I think, did we set a fee structure in regards to penalties?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So those ones that are not in compliance, once the inspectors go in there, they are subjected to paying an immediate fine.
Right, we can make it as though start January 1st or whatever, and then they got 60 days to comply pretty much without getting a fee.
But that's not in what the ordinance says. The ordinance, once you vote on it, pass this ordinance, that's absolute. That ordinance is in effect. So,
Can I make, should we pull this ordinance out and we want to table this to?
No, I don't want to table it. I don't want to table it.
oh, wait a minute.
Why don't
Wait a minute.
the motion was to approve the consent agenda, so it sounds like there's no consent on this item.
Yes.
So let's move, if you vote, if everybody's in agreement on the other items.
Well, I'm in agreement if we change it to, so somebody's got some time to get some
But-
stuff
but-
done and we keep
But
our
other
licenses.
people aren't. So if there's not consent, there's not consent.
Yeah.
So we can just pull item A and then vote the remainder of the items. If everybody's okay, and we'll go back to our discussion.
Okay.
Do I need to do a new motion for that?
You know, hold on a minute. We can vote on this. We can vote on this consent. It seems like everybody's in agreement about that we do need an ordinance. It's just the time that we implement it. Right. But the ordinance, what does it say now? Is there January 1st? Okay. Can we tonight change the date?
Sure.
You know, because okay. Village clerk made a suggestion, take it out of consent, vote on the consent of the other items in the agenda, and we'll go back to it and discuss a date.
Right, correct. So it'd be B through,
Is that okay, trustee? Pearson?
Oh, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
I think we need to move forward.
okay, all right.
no, just now that there's no consent on A, just vote on B through H, whatever it is.
Yeah. We do.
Now, we'll be
I'll make
voting
a
in yes
motion.
direction.
Right, as soon as we vote the other.
Okay. All right, let the record reflect that we will take item A out of the consent on this vote, and we'll bring it back up after we vote on this. Everybody fine with that? Okay, we have a motion on the table. We don't need to make another motion to do the amendment.
It's just B through H.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Mandel?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Hunt?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries
Mr. Mayor,
with everything other than item A.
going back to the daycare, it's the sections on page 8 where they say that the license is valid
Okay,
from January 1 through December 31.
okay.
So if,
Now, one thing I'm going to say is that in talking with Sandra in the permit department, and with the limited number of personnel that we have, it has been a burden to do all the licensing for every business here at one time. And in that case, it actually puts us behind in some cases in when the renewal is done. Mr. Irvin, you follow me?
I agree 100%. It was my suggestion when I asked Mr. Murphy to draw up the ordinance. It was my recommendation for January for two reasons. One, to stagger it.
Right.
Two, we do, as Trustee Pearson said, get some extra cash flow in January.
Right.
What I would recommend, the consideration of the board, to stay with the January 1st. We would get a letter out on or before November 15th telling them that this ordinance is in place.
Okay.
We then have the right to start sending out the inspectors.
Okay.
The inspectors have at their discretion, just like we do on housing inspections. 30 days to fix it, 60 days, 90 days, it's up to their discretion.
Okay.
I don't think we're here to put anybody out of business. I think it's very important we get inspectors into daycare centers where they're taking care of the youth of this community.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I think it's imperative for us to send notice out that we have a new law in place, that we are going to have inspectors coming out, and that those daycare centers need to be compliant, safety and otherwise.
My
So,
finishing with that is, if we wait till May, I really can't send the inspectors out until May.
okay.
So it's another, whatever,
All right,
8
do we
months.
have an active list in town? of
We can
state
get,
license?
I don't know if the police and fire,
The fire
right
chief
now,
has
I'll
this.
meet with them tomorrow, but I know that we can get one from the state, we can get it right offline. So
Okay.
we can get that in a matter of hours.
All right, then we need to put a good letter together.
Yes,
for
we will.
November 15th, at least to get it out, and then we can go forward. Okay.
And let it be known that when I came up with this ordinance, I did say that it's not to put anybody out of business, not to hurt anybody. It's just clearly to regulate the home daycare.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
Can I make a motion? I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 14-026.
Okay, it's a motion to approve ordinance 14-2026, and that's to provide for the licensing and regulation of daycare homes within the village of Dolton. Any further discussion? No further discussion, roll call.
Trustee Bendel?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Hunt?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Hendrick?
Aye.
Okay, 6 ayes, motion carries. Whose job is going to be, Mr. Earl, to get that letter
I
together?
will work with my assistant to draft the letter, and we will get that out. I'll have him do the mailing personally on that.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, old business.
Old business. Item A, the approval, it should really read the extension of the contract that is currently in place for Awakened Alternatives. The contract expired this weekend. They're asking, and I'm recommending, the acceptance of a month-to-month contract at this point. It would stay at the same dollar amounts, everything would stay the same. This is just a item that needs to be voted on and approved to move it forward.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the contract to Manager Dorchester with Awakening Alternative Management Service for month to month.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and given a second to approve a month-to-month contract for Awakening Alternative Management Services. Roll call. Any discussion, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I just got to say, I'm totally against the approval of a month-to-month contract. It's not your company, I understand the matter that we're in, but I'm not for keeping a business in business if they're not making any money. It's like if you have a business and you're not making money, you eventually have to close the door. They're costing us X, Y, Z amount of money, and yet instead we still keep them here. And like I said before, I understand the bound we in and why we're keeping them, but they do not have my vote.
Should we go close the door, Chester, then?
I'm just making my statement.
No, I understand.
No argument, no debate.
Yeah. No,
Statement.
No,
hold on a minute. This is special. This is special. The comment was you're in favor of not supporting a business that's not making money. And it should be closed the doors.
I didn't say nothing about closing any doors. I said that I wasn't in favor of the
Madam Clerk,
all I said.
can we go back? Who's there? For the record, did you hear anything about closing doors? Did you? People be on the floor, okay. All right, thank you. All right, trustee Smith, you have something? Okay. All right, roll call.
Motion by trustee Hunt, second by trustee Smith to extend the contract with Awaken Alternatives in Dorchester on a month-to-month basis. Trustee Bendel.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Hunt.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Hendrick.
No.
Okay, 5 ayes, 1 nay, motion carries. Okay, next thing on the agenda, sir.
Next item was B, sale of 130-132 East Sibley. I made the recommendation that we need to pull that from tonight's agenda, that it be brought up at a future meeting.
Okay,
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we, it does say something I can do is that we post this building up for sale to see what we can get for the highest bid. All right, so I'd like to be able to make, because my motion is that we post the sale of 130-132 East Sibley Boulevard as available for sale with using an agent and posting, see what we can get for the highest bid.
you want to use the H, you want to put just a sign on the building?
Well,
You wanna put a
use the
broker up?
agent, broker, and put it up for sale, let the public know, it seems like it's not that many people that know it, so put a sign.
Trustee, just a suggestion, I brought advice from the village attorney, he said we can pull this, and we just put on the spending side.
Oh, we don't need to make a motion for that?
No, that would just be
If
direction.
the numbers you're
or
talking about,
consensus.
Robert, I'm not sure you want to hire a broker. It doesn't sound like it's not going to be worth the money to, you know, just put a sign up, I guess.
I've had
That's the market.
But the broker only get paid off the commission of it, of the
Yes,
sale, right?
but you know what,
Whatever.
we can discuss.
Okay, yeah, all right,
We don't
you can just
need a
put the sign up, yeah, I just wanna,
Yeah.
Because there's other properties to consider to put signs up on as well.
okay,
So
all right.
we can pull
All right, so this one I would just like to pull at this point to a date uncertain.
Right. Okay.
Next.
Can we ask about that? The email that we received earlier today, was you just, it was
I
very,
would rather do that, considering it's a setting of price of a property, I'd rather do that one-on-one or an executive
oh,
session
I
rather
just
than
wanted
a
to know
public.
what person it was.
I cannot divulge that at this point. Item C, last item on the agenda, is the expenditures of the 2014 Series A bond, $1.4 million. Staff has prepared a document with the items that they need to perform their services that was prepared in the packet. I would like to discuss one of the items, the fire truck in the fire department. It's on your list at $560,000. Chief Hughes and I have not had the opportunity to collectively work with the fire manufacturing, the fire company. There is the potential that we would be able to put a deposit down, and most fire trucks can take anywhere from 6 months to as long as a year to build. That we wouldn't have to encumber all of this money at this time. So at this time, I think we should get the permission that we want to buy a fire truck. We need to work on the financing. It doesn't need to be all paid out of this in one lump sum. It could go into the next fiscal year, actually. So that being said, I'd like to keep, just for comfort's sake, $100,000 on the fire truck, because we may need that much as a down payment, which means $460 would come off the bottom line, which then brings you down to,
Mr.
Yes.
I would suggest that if the fire truck costs $560, we apply for 20% down, whatever that comes to, as a down payment.
that'd be 120.
Okay, can we allocate that much at least?
Do that,
for down
120.
payment?
Is that for a new fire truck or a used?
That's
or-
a new,
Okay, my recommendation was, when we looked at other municipalities such as like this, North Sea Safety trucks are more important, they no longer have the fire department, they do. You get it for cheaper than a new truck.
I guess the chief to weigh in on that.
No,
The problem is we have,
Why is it
No
no?
way,
Why is
no
it
way.
right?
first of all, Dixmoor's engines were taken over by Harvey. Harvey has their engines. Engines have a lifespan per NFPA. You don't buy old, they have to be retired after so many years as frontline engines. I'm not gonna buy an old truck and continue to put in maintenance like we're doing now with these. That makes-
Right, but what about the refurbished engines? That's what I'm speaking on. I understand that the vehicle's old, but they tune up the engine, so I'm just asking how to save money. And not only that, Dixmoor, the service, well, sold it to Harvey. Can you find out any other municipalities that have engines available as well, that we can buy less than $560,000?
I looked into some of the old engines, I even contacted the city of Chicago. Those engines, our engines, what, 1992 and later?
Our oldest, yeah.
Yeah, our oldest. They retired those engines because of the running time and the stress that they put under when they fight fire. So our superintendent told us to repair one of the engines now is going to cost us between $20,000 and $30,000. So if we were able to buy a new engine, we put a payment down on it and finance it over the term, we would have an engine that we can rely on, because we've had instances here where this department has had only one one functioning fire engine to service this whole town. So if there's other calls, if they have to go on, multiple calls, we have come to the problem, we don't have an engine to service.
Oh, that's the other, they ain't even so much, it's the point of the matter that any given time it could be down for 8 weeks for parts and for, that's the problem we had, like you stated, Mayor. 4 times last year I was down to an engine, and 1 time I was down to just the truck, which is not an engine, which does not carry the same amount of water, which is not used properly. So they're constantly breaking, we fix something and then something else, they're beat up. And to get a used engine from somewhere, it may look pretty, but I don't know what it did. I don't know how many, I could look at the hours on the engine and stuff like that, but you know how streets are. These things are going out, so just like buying a used car from an auction or something. It looks great, and then you pull out and the engine blows. So,
And you gotta consider, why would someone want to sell their engine? Why would someone want to sell? Because it's got some hours on it, it's used. They, more than likely, if they sell it in or sold it, they're updating themselves.